Welcome to the Boards.ie Ask Us Stuff, Ask Us Anything video. I'm Dav, in case you don't know from the picture, it's pretty obvious. This is Nicola, this is Niamh. Say hello, ladies.
Hello.
So we've got a list of questions from you all, and we may as well just start. First question, for once and for all, just how much coke and hookers is included with the standard position on the team? Well, I think we should address this coke and hookers thing straight away. First and foremost, to anyone who doesn't understand why this is a joke, years and years ago, the first time we had banner ads on the site, but long before Daft were involved, and still media as they are now, the admins at the time put banner ads up to help pay the bills. The theory at the time was that these banner ads were actually not paying for the site, they were paying for coke and hookers for the admins and for the mods. So it's kind of an in-joke with boards that stuck around. As to how much coke and hookers, we get enough for an 8 ball for every admin, and we get enough for 4 lines a week for every mod. Hookers, it's kind of, the quality has gone down a little bit, I'll be honest, but you know, nobody's really complained too much, so I hope that answers your question. A good question then, the next is, what are the most frustrating and satisfying things in your job? I will let one of you answer.
Where would we start? Frustrating things are people who sometimes find it difficult to understand what you're asking them to do when we're dealing with a lot of people by email. Most satisfying? That's also a tricky one.
Yeah.
The coke and hookers, I suppose.
Anything to add?
Some of the most frustrating things are the emails that you get, like, please stop sending emails to my address. I received a mail telling me I was banned for a month. I don't fucking care, you stupid sad arseholes. That's just not nice.
That's par for the course too with a lot of the stuff we get. Next question, who's done who? Next question. Give us a tour of the office. I might actually just grab the camera later on and go for a spin around the office and give you a look. There are all sorts of plans and ideas pasted up onto the walls of the office of designs in progress and stuff like that. So it's not as easy as just doing so. Because, you know, there are 4 companies in this office. There is Boards, obviously enough, there's Daft on our floor, we're on the 3rd floor of the building. On the 4th floor then we have Adverts and the Journal, and they're all busy doing their stuff too, so we can't interfere and break confidentiality of what's going on up there. But we might be able to do something. How many legal threats do we receive and how many of them are legitimate? I'll leave that to Nicola, who's been in charge of the legal tracker today.
So fun. We would get an average of 5 or 6 proper legal threats a week that we have to take action or investigate accordingly. We treat every one of them as legitimate until we're completely satisfied that they are either founded in Never Neverland reality or that they're just completely wrong. So yeah, they keep us busy. It's usually 1 a day, and then over the weekend we do get a lot of angry. I've googled myself and your sites come up and we'll take it down right now on a Sunday at 1:30 in the morning. But yeah, there's been a lot recently. We've noticed it's kind of ramped up. Particularly last week we had, I think, 11.
11 probably.
Yeah, we probably get 1 or 2 letters a week from solicitors, and they're the ones that we obviously have to compose a very clear and succinct reply to, so they take a lot of time to kind of deal with and make sure all the loose ends are tied up.
We have a full Lever Irish folder of just stuff we've got this year so far, and we've got similar folders for the previous few years. So yeah, people don't believe us, but it's very real.
There, you could stack them all up on the desk.
Yeah.
Tower legal.
Make a fort. Fort Justice. There we go. That's a plan for after this video. Take a note. Take a note. Facekicker is clearly the biggest legend of boards, correct? False. Facekicker was a one-off meme, one of many we've had over the years. So, you know. It was kind of funny. I mean, you know, kicking people in the face, pretty funny. But anyway, is it expected of staff to be regular posters or to not post at all? Or do they have separate accounts? Well, I've been a member of boards since before it was boards. I was, part of the Irish Quake community back in the day. So I've had an account since boards started. And I've been a mod for about 8 or 9 years. And I still am outside of that. Almost everyone who works here, I think, has a personal account.
Yeah.
We're, first and foremost, we are boardsies. This just happens to be where we work too. And it helps, to have a better understanding of the site at its roots and at its core, to be involved with the site and to be a member of it, or a member of one of, or many of the communities. It helps us do our job as well. It's not expected. We don't ask people if they have an account when they come to talk to us, or if they come and do interviews and stuff like that. It helps. It helps a lot. Anything to add? You both have accounts. I'm not going to ask you
Yeah,
to
I think
reveal
we were
your
all
accounts.
a member before we start working
Yeah,
here.
I only found the job advert because I was on boards when I was supposed to be studying for college. So
Thumbs up.
Procrastination is sort of a
Yeah.
big reason for a lot of people who've been on the site. Next question. Who always has to get their way and who is the biggest diva? That would undoubtedly be Garda Eugene Murta, who is the boards beaver. We will probably have a separate interview with him later because he's in makeup at the moment and
He won't share the screen.
he won't share the screen time with us. No, anyway, we'll move on. We got a question from the Hillbilly, who's one of our mods. He says, as a member of the food and drink mod team, I'd like to know what coffee you have in the office and also what you all have for lunch. He's theorised as to what it is we have. There have been some issues with some of the suggestions from a member of the team that is not currently sitting in this room and not currently in the makeup chair, but that person will be allowed to answer for themselves in our next video. But as for us, I don't drink coffee. It is my biggest failing as a nerd that I don't drink coffee. I just don't like the taste of it. But I do drink delicious tea.
a lot of tea.
Right now, we've got some of our tech team outside. I'm going to give you a tour of them later on, deciding that they were going to just stare at us,
Try and make us laugh.
try and make us laugh and try and put us off. They are also all boardsies. So maybe I'll just take a shot of their desks or of them at work and flash up their board's usernames so you can say hello to them. Or maybe I won't. Ladies, lunch, coffee, tea?
Coffee's really important. We have coffee machines, but they don't get used anymore because the coffee from them isn't that nice. I have.
Nobody knows how to clean them.
That's
So-
why I drink tea.
That's why.
And I have my own cafetiere, which is yum, and I need coffee in the morning. Then the day begins.
There have been an extraordinary number of questions about tea and coffee and our tea drinking habits. So I will go on record as saying I have anywhere between 3 and 4 of these cups a day. This holds about a pint of tea. I put 3 tea bags in. The tea bags we use are Lions because Lions is the best tea. And if Lions Tea are watching and want to send us some more tea, we would be more than happy to have it. Tea?
Tea in the afternoon, Earl Grey or regular milk, 2 sugars.
I generally drink Barry's tea, but I like Lions also.
There's
Beauty,
always
all
one.
of the tea.
There's always one. But remember that?
This isn't Earl Grey at all.
Not even so, just some of the other tea related questions, I'll just get them all out of the way now.
While we're on the subject.
While we're on the subject.
Well, one of them was Lions or Barry's.
One of them was Lions or Bears.
Have you
I think we've
answered
answered
that?
that. I hope that solves that particular conundrum. Who drinks the most coffee has to be Gordon, the commissioner. He drinks
9 to 10 cups. a
nine,
day.
yeah, easily 9 to 10 cups. He arrives in with a cup that he's got on his walk from the train station up to the office, and he'll go for a coffee with some of the other managers around 11, and he'll have one in between that, and he'll just keep topping it up as the day goes on. Now, to be fair to him, he has less than 18-month-old son, so he sort of needs it. But even before his son was born, the coffee thing was a little extreme for Gordo. But you know, that's the only vice he has really. He's that and painting. He loves to paint and decorate. So much painting. His idea of a fun weekend is gotta redo the sitting room. Oh, he'll have the colour books and he'll be flicking through deciding which paint he'll have. He's in an office of strange people. He's a strange person too. All right, I think we'll move on. Somebody has asked, what can we as boards members do to help the headquarters team do their jobs? That's actually a really good question. A big help for us is the reporting of posts. We cannot overstress how important that is. When something goes wrong, there is no possible way we can keep an eye on all of the site. It's just too big. There is no possible way in some of the very, very busy forums that the mods can keep an eye on all of it. So the reporting and posts is probably the most important thing that makes our site tick. And some of the other questions later ask about what makes us different and what makes us stand out, why are we popular, and so on. The fact that we have moderation on this site and that it's not anything goes is a big part of the appeal for us. There's a lot of Wild West on the internet, you know, there's a lot of places you can go where there are no rules, or any rules that are there are kind of lax, and we've always been kind of proud of the fact that we do have rules and we do expect a certain kind of baseline level of civility and of discourse, and we don't allow discussion on things like, you know, copyright infringement or illegal downloads and stuff like that. There's nothing against us, there's no rule or law saying that we can't facilitate those sorts of discussions, but we just chose not to because we didn't want to. There's loads of places on the internet for that. So yeah, the reporting post is probably the number one thing. Aside from that, tell your friends. You know, we're always happy to have more members. We're always happy for kind of goodwill to spread from that. So we've never advertised the site. It's always been word of mouth and Google search. Google loves us, which is great. So people find the site through Google. So yeah, that's more or less it, I think. Any thoughts or suggestions?
No, I think that's probably the biggest thing, the best thing. Keep us ticking over.
Yeah. Alrighty, next one. It's an awkward question. Why don't we stock Italia Court Braid?
I checked the stock room and I'm pretty sure it's all gone. I looked twice. But yeah.
Flew out the door, we just
Sorry
couldn't keep
guys.
them. We're very sorry. That was an email that came into the office, you know, and it's Neve has a selection of some of the more interesting emails that we receive. That we literally have an OMG folder for our email that the daft ones go into.
Daft is it.
Sorry, not emails for daft.
No.
Yes. This person also asks: is the toilet paper in your toilet over, as in the roll is over, or under? Now, this person, who may or may not be a moderator of After Hours and may or may not be called Liz T, has suggested that going over is the correct way and under is wrong. I disagree with you, Elizabeth T, if that is your real name. And under is the correct way, but that's just me.
Ours is actually sideways because the
Yeah,
Can't
it's in a container,
Yeah.
so we don't know.
we
It's
don't
always gone to
know.
the wall. And, you know,
You've raised a very serious
Oh, yeah,
issue.
there is no under or over, it's just one side or the other.
It's just dressed to the left or right.
Can't tell.
Yeah. Yeah. So, anyway.
Remain a mystery.
That will, and perhaps the toilet habits of the office should remain a mystery. If you could choose an office pet, what would you choose and why?
I've raised this several times before, actually, on an almost weekly basis. I have a dog. His name is Archie. He is very intelligent and would be a valuable addition to any office. Gordon said no.
Gordon owns 2 pigs though, so he's biased.
Mm.
I don't know why he doesn't like dogs. Don't know why he likes pigs. Well, actually, no, I do know why he likes pigs. They're nice pigs. They're cute. He's taking pictures. Any pet suggestions?
No.
No.
Cute puppies are Always the good suggestion.
When Neve and I get stressed, we like to look at pictures of cute puppies to
We do.
calm us down.
Happens a lot.
That's something you can do to help. Send pictures of puppies.
Yeah.
Or puppies, but
Just the
you know.
puppies.
Or the puppies. I'm more of a cat fan myself. I like dogs too, but I am more of a cat fan. I am currently in the process of building a habitat for a tortoise. I plan on getting a tortoise. Maybe the tortoise will come to the office for a visit. I don't know. It may not be a safe environment for a tortoise. They need some minding. So we shall see. If I do bring him in for, or her in for a visit, no doubt we will take pictures and maybe tweet it out or something. Somebody has asked who works in the office. And when I found out the answer, I'll come up with a question. Maybe. Well, we work in the office, as do our tech team who are over there somewhere. On our tech team is Ronan, Danny and Alvis. And there is also Commissioner Gordon, who sits away from us now because he's sick of the sight of us. And there are also people on the distilled sales team who work kind of on behalf of all of the group. We got Matt, we got Neve, we've got Cameron. Yeah. Anyone else
No.
deal with sales for us? No. Just them. So yeah, that's the team. What do we think makes sports stand out? I think we've answered that with like the idea of the moderation, and the other thing is it's Ireland focused, and there's nowhere else in Ireland kind of like what we do. There's nowhere else really in the world kind of like what we do that has the. We sort of hit at the right time in the right place, and we've got the right size of population for the site to work. So I don't know if you could try it in any other country. I'm not sure if it would work as well. And if you were to try and start it again, I don't know if it would work as well. It's been often said on other websites that we're the biggest and the baddest and the worst, and they don't like us because of that. And that's just, you know, generally people have been banned from sports for whatever reason. Some people don't like the way we do our thing. That's fine. That's fine. We've got several other forums in Ireland that other people are happier to frequent. That's fine with us too. No problem. There's room for everyone. I think, unless you think different.
We should all just be friends.
Why can't we all just get
Get
along? Do you guys have pillow fights in the office?
We don't even have pillows.
Not even a bed to sleep in. Shocking. Who knew that, you know, an office wouldn't have pillows or beds? Occasionally the bean bags get thrown around.
They're very big though.
They're those giant Buddha bags. Very comfortable to sit on, not so comfortable to throw or get hit with. There's another question about lunch, but who has the best lunch? Or does anyone come in with a flattened jam sandwich or someone else come in with a roast chicken? I don't know. We're in the middle of town, so it's easy to go find food anywhere. So, you know. Where do we see boards in 5, 10 and 20 years?
Still here, hopefully.
Still here. Yeah. That would be nice. Still gainfully employed.
I really hope so.
We'd just like to see more people using it, more companies using it to talk to their customers. That's a big one for us. And also we want local government and national government in on the site. We would love to have departments within government represented on the site. We would love to have corporations, county councils and all that sort of thing. And we'd love to have other branches of kind of, you know, government and social services like An Garda Síochána, Fire Service, the HSE. You know, that's the sort of goal for us, is to have all of that area of Ireland represented as well as the people. The overall goal for the site is to be the neutral kind of third party platform where Irish people talk on the internet. So we're getting there. We'll hopefully keep going the right way. We seem to be. Are there any features we'd love to bring to the site or aspects of interaction, such as social media integration.
We always have a list of things we think would be great, or things we'd like to see happen. I can't think of anything, I suppose, social media wise.
We've been talking for a very long time about the site redesign, and this is something that's always being worked on in the background. I want, and this is me personally, not officially, this is what we're doing, but I want us to build a bit more of a platform for each forum, for each community, to support them a bit more. So I'd like to have things like a picture gallery for each forum or each community, calendars as to events that are on within that community, and things like that. It's just sort of stuff that reinforces the idea that every forum is not just a list of threads and conversations, but it's a community, it's a place where people have kind of gathered together to talk about whatever the subject is. So that's the only real significant changes I'd like us to implement, is to put in more supports for that sort of thing. Any thoughts yourself?
I don't know about social media integration. I think we stand alone as we are. Like, I don't know if it would be a good idea for people to be tweeting out links all over the place. Although they do already, but...
Yeah.
Why do you think Boards kicked off the way it did from a forum for Quake? Well, the story was that, John Breslin and Tom Murphy, Cloud and Devore respectively, were having a chat on IRC one night, and Tom said to John, "I'd love the site to be something more than just Quake. I'd love it for a place that my dad would use." That was the example he had, that somewhere where my dad would look up things or talk. And so they made a bet to get boards.ie. Tom said, if I can get boards.ie the domain, John would have to run the technical end of it. Now back then, getting a .ie domain was quite difficult. Tom changed the name of his company to Boards Limited for a day, had all the paperwork submitted to the IEDR, and because it was the name of his company, they granted the URL. So it seems like a very convoluted thing to have to do nowadays, but that's just the way it was with the IEDR, and it's not a bad way to have done it. So why did it become what it became? I guess there were a lot of, there was a pre-existing community there to start with in the Quake players, and that branched off into various other online games and online gamers in Ireland. And these were the early internet adopters in Ireland, so we all kind of grew up with the idea that here's a place where we can talk to other Irish people about the stuff we're interested in. And it wasn't just Quake or Counter-Strike. It grew into the various other forums beyond that, and then you become bigger and bigger, and the bigger you are, the more people you get. That's sort of how it's worked out for us. There were other forums around at the time, like P45 and Entertainment.ie ran forums as well, but they ran them differently to us. They had pre-moderation and stuff like that, and it didn't quite work out. It wasn't as dynamic. Our policies were different and so on. So we were the one that came out the victor, I suppose. We don't consider ourselves the victor by any stretch of the imagination, but we were the one that lasted that storm of the early days. And yeah, when you're big, you just keep getting bigger. So that's kind of how it's worked for us. Yeah. Anything to add?
No. Covered it all very succinctly there.
Yeah. These are both noobs. Who is our biggest competition? Strictly speaking, there isn't really anything like us anywhere. The closest, I suppose, would be Reddit.
Yeah.
And Reddit does its thing very, very well. I think we all browse Reddit at some stage or another. I, for example, play a lot of StarCraft and watch a lot of StarCraft. And anyone who knows StarCraft knows that I'm currently wearing a StarCraft Protoss t-shirt. And the StarCraft Reddit community is very, very big for the international kind of level, so I keep an eye on that. it's a great site. It does extremely well. So they're probably the closest thing to us. Reddit Ireland is pretty busy. In terms of Irish only sites, I'm not sure. There are plenty of other Irish forums we've mentioned. Like People's Republic of Cork is a good example. Thumps.com is another example. But they kind of specialise in what they do. Like People's Republic of Cork, obviously enough Cork based and for Cork people and their fans. Thumped is a more music based site. But yeah, we're a lot bigger than them. And we've got a much wider sort of variety of discussion and community on the site. So, but you know, we've got no beef with them. They do their thing extremely well too. Do we think boards is an effective tool for politically motivated debate, especially for voting during the general elections? The bigger question, I suppose, is social media an effective tool for this kind of thing? I would say yes. I saw an awful lot more of it the last few elections.
Yeah.
And we've had more political stuff appearing on the site over the last few elections, which is good.
We've also been archived by the National Library of Ireland during the presidential election and the last general election. So they archived our content from the pre-election and then post-election time period. So they considered us worth archiving.
We would like to expand on that as well. You know, in the same way that we'd like to have branches of government on the site, we would love to have the press offices of the various parties have an official presence as well, or even to host debates between the candidates and so on. I mean, we were fortunate in that we had several of the presidential candidates in for interviews, which, if you're watching this on YouTube, you should see on the other sides of the channel. So we'd like to do more of that sort of stuff as well. So we'll see. Fingers crossed. Do we plan to try other countries again, or are we happy with just Ireland? I don't see us doing other countries again. For those of you who don't know, we used to have boards.co.uk, boards.jp.cn.us. We've got enough work with just it's difficult to try and break into another country when you're not based there either. There are all sorts of kind of cultural reasons and
legal as well.
Legal, yeah. We'd have to set up an office in that country, and then we'd have to be compliant with that country's laws, which would be different. And so what might be legally problematic in one country could be fine in another. There's all that sort of stuff. I don't know.
I think about 30% of our traffic comes from outside of Ireland anyway. A lot of like expats and also people who just kind of find the site and have an interest in Ireland. So we do have a little bit of an international reach. But yeah, Ireland's okay for now.
Yeah, I think we'll stick with that. Should be enough. Yeah. What is my favourite t-shirt to wear to work? Specifically, what is my favourite t-shirt to wear? I do like this t-shirt a lot, just cause. I really like the t-shirt that Damo and Diablo designed for us that we sold just before Christmas. Or just, was it before or after Christmas? I can't remember either. Yeah, we've teamed up with the guys in Corty to sell the t-shirt, and it was designed by Damo. There were some brilliant designs submitted, so I think we may try another one of those maybe later in the year. But yeah, I really like that t-shirt. There's also our uniform, our unofficial uniform, that we all seem to have a kind of a burgundy coloured, wine coloured top of some description, and invariably two of us will wear it on the same day. So we've kind of called it our uniform.
Or three.
We're three, yeah. We're not sure why, it's just that it happened that way. Have you any particular favourite things you like to wear?
My uniform.
Your uniform.
I feel comfortable. Yeah.
You?
I just throw on whatever's there.
Whatever's top of the clean pile, yeah?
Yeah.
Just like me. Are we looking for anyone during the summer? Not specifically, but anytime we're looking for new employees, you will see it posted on the front page of the site. We're currently looking for someone in sales, aren't we?
Sales.
Yeah.
The online media sales.
Online media sales.
Yep.
So if that's what you do, send us your CV. Is there any forum that surprised you in how popular it is?
Not surprised, it just keeps getting more and more popular. Bargain alerts. I'm a big fan. I shouldn't go there close to payday, but
It's dangerous.
so dangerous. We will both things in the last couple of weeks.
Stupid things. He says looking at the 45-foot track of racing car set.
Which we still haven't used.
Which, I'll show you a picture of that later.
Yeah, I think bargain alerts is just really popular, especially
Yeah.
like the mega threads for different discount codes and big brands. Yeah, that's quite like just hasn't died down.
Hasn't
at all.
stopped.
No, no.
How about you?
There's some quite niche forums that are just, you're wondering why they're there at all, but people use them, they're great. The mustard forum and
Good
things
old
like
mustard
that.
forum.
Not just any old
Set up to
condiment.
prove a point.
Mustard.
Not just any. I can't believe how big the animals and pets issues forum
Yeah.
is. And I can't believe how much trouble that forum causes us. Going on record saying animal and pets people are mental. Okay, some of you people are mad. I like animals and pets too, but the level of legal stress that forum has caused us, I have nearly closed it down 4 times since I started working here 4.5 years ago. So just please calm down a bit. We all like dogs and cats, but you know, and whatever, but just chill, you know, take a deep breath and then come back to us. Then we have, this is a classic question, we get a lot of this. I would just like to know where I start a thread and where thread categories are, or can I start a thread anywhere? This is, I suppose, a problem in the way people now use the internet. When we started off, it was, you know, forums were quite a popular thing. So you would go to the place where they're talking about whatever you want to talk about and make a post there. Nowadays people are more used to things like Facebook or Twitter, where there's like, I make my post and anyone who's following me or reading my stuff will see it and deal with it accordingly. So we're working hard on making, first of all, the idea of categories and topics of discussion more obvious and visible to newer people, to people who, for whom the internet is still relatively new. And beyond that then, we're going to try and, when people sign up and join, we want to maybe ask them a couple of questions about what they're interested in and maybe try and point them at various communities in that way. You'll have seen recently on the Touch site, for those of you who use it, that there is now a start post button on the site. And you can just start writing and then you choose where it goes. And a lot of people we tested that with, any established people were like, this makes no sense, I need to go to the forum before I make the post. But to people who hadn't used the site before, they're like, oh yeah, that's brilliant. Now I understand, I make my post and then it asks me where I put the post. So it's just the way different people use the tubes. So that's something we're working hard on, and it's not unique to just us in here. All of the companies in this office have similar sorts of concerns, you know, as to how people put their content onto our site. So we've got several product managers and design people working on those sorts of things. So yeah, it's something we'll keep working on and let us know.